This is it then. One final time, one final chance to qualify. We are back for the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship qualifiers. We are finally about to find out which final 5 drivers are going to be transferring onto the main grid of the championship. Over the previous 3 rounds, we've seen much excitement, many thrills, many spills, and just a fantastic showing of exciting racing, and now all comes down to this. A continuation of the attempt that we had 2 weeks ago, still at Sachsenring, still myself, Lewis McGlade, still alongside me is Robert Wiesenmüller and Rob. In that 2-week break between the rounds, between the races, do you think some of the drivers that maybe struggled last time out are going to learn from that, the likes of Heinemann?
Hello everyone, hello Lewis. Well, we will see. I think this time we will see the most dramatic race out of all of these shootouts here. Because it's truly the last chance that the drivers have to qualify for the main season of the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship, where they, of course, participate and fight for 80,000 euro in prizes.
Yeah, of course, you can see there on your screen already the 15 drivers that have already confirmed themselves onto the grid. Of course, the Williams Esports drivers. You've got Euronics on there, AAA with a couple of drivers as well. It's looking like a fantastic team championship, and of course, they all get to run in custom liveries and the likes. It's all very, very exciting. Recently, we've just found out. There we go. You might have spotted it, but there is the Williams Esports. It doesn't look good, Rob.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and this is the car that will be used by the driver who qualified first. The car that will be used by Kuba Brzezinski. Yeah, we actually asked him if it's okay if we reveal his car choice, but no surprise, he will go for the Porsche. And yeah, great to see the Williams Esports car in the game. There will be 19 more of them. Just a bit of time.
Yeah, of course, Kuba Brzezinski won both of the races in his qualifier a long time ago, 2 months ago, in fact, both of the races in that Porsche. However, focusing on today, focusing on even 2 weeks ago, when Gergo Baldi came out on top in that race, of course, like an impressive drive, great strategy, pitted early to get ahead of everyone else. Of course, the likes of Tim Heinemann maybe tried pitting a bit later, a bit towards the halfway point, did not work out, whereas this man got it absolutely right, took home 25 points, and really puts one hand on one of those transfer spots.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look here at the current standings, because of course the result from the first race that we had 2 weeks ago, it counts, because that race ran without problems. It was just the start of the second race that gave us some trouble. So these are the standings going into this race here. So we've got Gergo Baldi sitting on 25 points in the lead, out of Cihan on 20, Pinczes 16, Högfeld on 13, and then it should have been Heinemann on 11. But he got a 5-point penalty. Contact with Cihan 2 times in the race. So he's down on P9 on 6 points. And Egor Ogorodnikov from Russia has moved into the crucial top 5 positions ahead of this race.
Yeah, and certainly a driver that can do some decent damage here is Ogorodnikov. When you're in those kind of positions, of course, 10 points, it's maybe not major. I think the lowest that we've seen transfer is the likes of, I think it's about 20 points there when it was Moritz Lerner and that lot that qualified. So those are kind of the lowest points. You'd kind of say that if he wants to transfer, he's maybe got to get a 5th place in this race or higher. It could be a pretty hard fought race, this one. Of course, we're in the final few seconds of practice, Rob, and we'll go into qualifying. We know this track's a little tricky to overtake on. Of course, it's the same format that you know from the last one. So it's 40 minutes. There is a mandatory pit stop, and that mandatory pit stop was so crucial last time.
Yeah, it was, because we saw exactly how Gergo Baldi came into the pits as soon as the pit window opened. So we've got a 40-minute race, and it opens after 10 minutes. He immediately entered the pit lane that you can see here. And it paid out for him. Tim Heinemann stayed out a lot longer and lost a lot of positions, even though he was on pole and he was leading the race in the beginning.
Yeah, not that it's of too much importance. Obviously, practice is one thing, and then the race and qualifying is another. But currently topping the practice session was Emre Cihan, ahead of Christopher Hogfeld. So, you know, there's a decent showing. Oh, here's the race out of pit lane, Rob.
Yeah, and if you can remember last time, it will be the same today. We've got a lot of BMWs here, because the BMW is the best car on Sachsenring. Not the most popular car for the season, so much I can say already. We will see it in the season, but not quite in this quantity. And yeah, it will be a little bit hard to keep the drivers, to differentiate the drivers from another. Let's just have a look at the entry list for a quick moment. 30 drivers on the list. We probably won't see all 30 here because some of them have given up after the first shootout. But yeah, lots of BMWs. Cihan and Baldi both in the white car. Högfeldt in the white and black car. And Pinczes, for example, in the blue and black car. And then Tim Heinemann, of course, in the Mercedes. You can expect a lot from him once again in the race today.
Yeah, drivers on there that I'd be looking to. The likes of Adam Pinczes, spoken about him a few times, had a very good run a couple of weeks ago to get himself into a temporary qualifying spot. Of course, currently third on the standings that we've got. We've got Christopher Högfeldt, who is fourth on that. But if Adam Pinczes gets in, I think I brought this up last time, that would mean there's 5 Williams Esports drivers on the grid. Of course, him being part of the support camp, the Williams Jimmy Sports.
That could
car.
be even 6 if Gassner gets in as well. And Gassner was fast last time. Anyway, let's go on board here with Christopher Högfeldt on the Sachsenring. Not the most common racing circuit, of course. Very unique one. Down through the Omega here. This is a tight sector. This is a sector where the Porsche really shines. And there's just no Porsche in the race today. Up the hill, and now a very tricky double left-hander. It's the first 2 left-handers of a whole chain of left-handers. Because we go into this corner here, we turn left. Not quite flat out, but very close to. You can run a bit on the grass on the exit. Then, of course, we turn left for the next corner. You have to watch out here, because you can run easily into the grass and then you won't get the car back. 2 left-handers following up. This one, a lot of drivers cut the grass on the inside. And then finally, the right-hander at the Wasserfallkurve. Down the hill, fastest part of the circuit. And then, I guess we have to turn left again. Because it's a super tricky penultimate corner here. Where you never really know where the apex is. You run as wide as possible as you can on the exit. To the final corner, obviously a left-hander. And it's very hard to get the traction down here. Högfeldt does so beautifully. Maybe he's using some traction control. Stays on the right side. Feels like it's a good lap. Let's see Högfeldt across the line. 1:18.891. And that is really a good lap.
That's a good start. Instantly beat, though, by Mark Gassner.
Yeah, it was 18.9 actually. Oh, and Pinczes. Where did this come from? Pinczes, 18.7. Wow.
Julian Kunzer as well, second. Of course, we've spoke about him last time. Did not have a great race last time, and one of those drivers that really needs to do a lot of work here to get into a qualification spot. One driver that we thought maybe should have been up there, but he's been struggling with this car a little bit. But you know, a circuit like this, it looks simple on a track map, but it is not simple. It is not an easy circuit. It is a very tricky, very complicated circuit with a lot of very tricky corners that are all sort of like this high to medium speed. Finding a car balance around here is obviously very tricky, of course, with all the inflict setups and the like as well. Here's Tim Heinemann, currently in 20th position, moves up to 2nd. Good final sector.
Yeah, Mercedes should be good in the first and in the last sector, losing a lot of time in the middle sector. But if Tim Heinemann wants to have a chance, he basically has to be on pole, or he has to win the start. Because in the race, the tire wear of the Mercedes is just higher than the tire wear of the BMW. So he always has a little bit of a disadvantage in the race.
Yeah, one of the reasons why everyone's taken a BMW in this, because a circuit like this, all of them being left-handers, sort of around the second sector, you're leaning on that front right so very, very much all the way through that sector, and so you want a car that's nice, that's kind to its tyres, and obviously if you're picking a Mercedes, it's maybe not so much. Here's Richard Schaefer up the hill, a driver who's not had the best of any of the qualifiers. He's not really shown too much, and we know how talented this driver is.
Yeah, up to P10, that's solid, I would say. Richard Schaefer finished 2nd in the online championship of the German Race Room Championship yesterday. So it was great to see Tim Heinemann won the title there. So good to see some improvement in his form. Jens Fiedler actually got his first podium in this race. He's also in this race here in 18th. And we can see Vromont up to P4. Also a driver who's sitting on 0 points at the moment in the shootout.
Yeah, we spoke about this before the broadcast, how there's plenty of drivers in this that have 0 points to their name, but could actually put together a decent race here, or even a low amount of points to their name that could put together a decent race and maybe move themselves up. But trying to stick Pinczes off of the pole position. Emre Cihan, good first sector, all right second sector, and fails.
Surprise. Let's see with Ogor Rotnikov. He's the most surprising name in the top 5 at the moment, I would say. I guess not everyone expected Pinczes to be that fast, or Högfeld, but truly Ogorotnikov has been one of the revelations of the last few months, also when he was in the WTCR final in Malaysia. He's on a solid lap, but he needs to really be ahead of guys like Kunze, like Gassner, who are his direct rivals for qualifying for the season, and he does so. He goes up to 6th, at least ahead of Gassner at the moment.
It's a good time, of course, down in 11th position, maybe not where he wanted to be, but now moved up. Now through the first sector, Tim Heinemann going even quicker. As you said, you're going to expect him to lose a little bit of time here in the second sector, but then gain it back in that third. We saw that a couple of weeks ago as well, coming into to good effect. The only Mercedes on the grid today, the other two Mercedes that we did have last time, are not here at the moment. So it is just Tim Heinemann donning on the Mercedes outfit.
I lost 2.5 tenths in the second sector, and he should gain probably 2 tenths back, but I don't think this will be an improvement.
Could be very tight. Oof, getting into that apex a little bit later and getting a drive off. A little bit too much power, I think. Just a little bit of a slide.
But he's driving pretty well. Let's see when he crosses the line. No, it's not an improvement.
Close though.
Yeah, very close.
From second position on the grid, he might be able to do something on the start, but remember about his tyres. He ran to the halfway point in the race, pitted, and basically lost so much track position, had to work it back, and just didn't really work out for him. Here we are with Julian Kunze, who's another driver who's just not had a very good qualifier for the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship thus far, but that could all change today.
Yeah, halfway through the qualifying, final corner for Julian Kunze, but that lap is not the best one.
Now, I've noticed that Emre Cihan as well is down in 10th position as well, so that's another driver that might be struggling, that we did well last time. Julian Kunze didn't improve. Here is Emre Cihan. Of course, we saw him purple in the first sector before, purple again, but this time by quite a bit bigger margin.
Because he's taking a lot of grass there on the inside. He's up against the same car, up against the BMW, and I think this middle sector from Pinczes was just really, really fast.
He's pushing it to the very, very limit. See if he can find any time. Again, a little bit later to the apex, but still not. That was quite nice. That was nice. Is it quick though? That's the question. Comes towards the line. Is it going to be an improvement from 10th? I think it might be. Up to 3rd position. Nice, nice work. Kicks Kirill Antonov off of the second row. Johannes Weiss currently down in 21st position. Setting some decent sector times. Should move him up towards the bottom end of the top 10, out just outside of it, I think. No improvement. Lost a lot of time there. Tomasz Mironovic. A driver that could show some very impressive form. Of course, this is a thing with at this point in this is anyone that can qualify currently goes to 9th position. Anyone on this grid can qualify. They just need a very, very good result in this one race, which makes things very very spicy indeed. Currently purple in the first sector. Once again, Tim Heinemann looking pretty strong, but I don't think that's a strong enough first sector, Rob.
Yeah, and he was already sliding coming out of the first two left-handers. Expect him to lose a bit of time here. Maybe he can sneak a draft from the BMW ahead of him. He has lost time, but that could be pole. Oh no! Oh, and it's a cut track.
He's not happy. I don't know who that was, but he is not happy.
Oh, that was clearly a mistake from the BMW, blocking him on his fastest lap there. Just have to move out of the way. Heinemann has to stick to the outside, and he was forced to cancel his lap basically, because he went over the line, lap invalidated, no improvement possible, and that's very bad for him, because Högfeld has just jumped him and moved him out of the front row.
Yeah, good time from Högfeld. Here we are looking at Julian Kunze. It was one of
Baldi
the black
18th.
and white.
I'm sorry to.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Not a good qualifier at the moment. Don't think he's on a time at the moment. Julian Kunze to the line, no improvement. Here we are then. That is Gergo Baldi right there. 18th position. He's got 25 points on the board. So that's already a very good start. But he has been close to qualifying on more than one occasion, and for whatever reason, it has not gone his way. I think it is hard to see Gergo Baldi not qualifying in this, but it is possible.
It's certainly possible because Pinczes, Högfeld, Heinemann, Cihan, Kunze, and Gassner as well, these are all drivers who already have a lot of points. And this will be one more attempt left for Gergo Baldi here to improve, and the times are close. Top 18 within half a second.
Top 25 within a second. It is a short track, so many pray to the only one outside of that. Of course, maybe not too accustomed to the BMW. No, we normally see him in a Porsche. Taking to the BMW and still kind of struggling with it, but I'm sure we'll see some strong things from him out of the race, so don't worry about that.
Gillison is also quite far back. I think he just has 1 point. He looked like he would qualify at the Zandvoort shootout, then made a mistake.
Yeah, it was very close to getting through that day, but that opened the gates for Moritz Lerner to get into the final grid. So, yeah, definitely not the time to make mistakes. We've seen a lot of mistakes throughout these qualifiers. Of course, a very high-pressure environment, and with 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session, to get ready for that 40-minute race, it is so crucial because it's not an easy track to overtake at.
It certainly isn't. We've seen in the last shootout how Mark Gassner tried to get past Gergo Baldi for the race victory, and in the end he threw his car away. Oh, that's a worse lap from Heinemann. It could be an improvement. He could be maybe jumping Högfeld as Rüdiger, who's also on the purple sector at the moment. Heinemann will have another attempt, and Högfeld goes pole.
That lap was under the radar, just pipping Adam Pinczes at the moment. That's a very good time. We'll see if Tim Heinemann can close up anywhere on that. Has got a great drive out that final corner. It's been a decent lap at the moment, a personal best. Escapes from it, didn't like it. And that's his session done. He won't get another one.
Will be better than third. Let's see with Rüdiger. So Högfeld on pole, what a surprise. Could be the second Swede to qualify after Jesper Eriksson.
Yeah, what a qualifying effort that was from Jesper Eriksson. Of course, that was at Zandvoort and Spielberg. Great drive. Leon Rüdiger to the line, currently going very, very quickly. Goes to third and deposes Tim Heinemann from another position. Incredible lap. Yeah. Very, very nice.
Now the times are coming in. Let's see Leon Rüdiger in the points. He's sitting on 0 points, so he's one of these guys who really needs a victory or at least a second place to just have any chance of qualifying. And Pinczes about to start his final lap. Bit of traffic ahead of him though.
He has just about enough time to finish this. There is someone coming out of the pit lane, which is a bit odd because you can't finish a lap. Because again, I always say almost every broadcast, but when that timer hits 0, we move straight into the race. That is it. There is no waiting for people to finish their laps. We move straight over.
Rüdiger's qualifying is over, Högfeld's qualifying is over, and Heinemann's qualifying is over. Cihan and Kunze are still out. Let's check with Kunze actually. Because he's a bit further down in his lap. He lost time in the second sector.
I'd still say in comparison to the other stuff that Julian Kunze has done over this qualifier, that P6 is a pretty decent effort, but it is going to be a struggle for him to qualify from that position unless he can move his way up a little bit more. I think there's a touch more time in this, but maybe not that much. It's going to be tight. He's got to put together a very, very strong final sector if he wants to move up from 6th position. What's he going to do at the line? It's going to stay 6th.
So only Pinczes can maybe do something about it, but he's lost a lot of time. It will be the pole position for Christopher Högfeld.
Fantastic lap. Very much under the radar. Of course, himself and Adam Pinczes joining him on the front row. Great qualifiers from the pair of them. They had a decent run in the first round, and starting from the front row in this, it's a great opportunity to punch a ticket.
Yeah, look where Baldi starts. He's only 19th, Gassner only 8th, Ogorotnikov only 11th. So
we've got an exciting race here, Rob. The final race for these drivers to qualify into the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship. We had one race 2 weeks ago, but this is it. Those points will be totted up against this one. Those are your standings at the moment. You can see Baldi on the 25 points, Emre, Cihan, Adam Pinczes, Christopher Högfeld, your pole setter, in 4th position, and Igor Ogorotnikov in 5th. there are plenty of drivers that will be able to move their way up these standings, and some that are going to leave this day in tears. Rob, what a crazy race it's going to be.
Yeah, and I think we will expect some fireworks from Heinemann at the start. I think he knows he needs to take the lead in the first corner, and that will be some exciting racing coming up, that's for sure.
Yeah, not long to go now, 15 seconds before we get this race underway. Tim Heinemann is going to be starting from the 4th position, of course, on the front row. Christopher Hogfeld, Adam Pinczes. We look at them as they're getting ready. The BMW army about to go racing against the one lone Mercedes of Tim Heinemann, and we are away here at Sachsenring for the final time of the qualifiers. Oh, Tim Heinemann has gained a position, but he's trying to cut off Leon Rudinger up into 4th position. There's a bit of contact between the two, and Tim Heinemann's going round. He's caught it though. Oh, he's going to drop down into 5th position, maybe 6th, going down the hill though. Christopher Hogfeld is leading the way from Adam Pinczes, from Julian Kunze, who's got up into 3rd position. Great start from him. Leon Rudinger in 4th position. Dennis DeMarco takes 5th. There's a driver dropping down the order. I don't know who it is. Vincent Yarshall dropping down.
Oh, and Heinemann is around.
Heinemann around again. Oh, I think that might be it for him. Oh, bit of an interesting rejoin. Oh! Okay, contact there. I think that was Alexander Fremont, so another one tick out. Fremont was the one who hit the back of Tim Heinemann from that. Now down in 21st position in all of that.
And look at Dennis DeMarco. Where did he come from? He's 5th.
Where's Gergo Baldi? Oh, he's up to 8th.
Wow.
Gergo Baldi's got up into 8th position from 19th. My goodness.
Schäfer out of the race, and look who also lost out here.
Emre Cihan.
Wow, down to 25th. And he needs to get into the top 15 to get points. Already sitting on 20 points, of course. And there's the next drivers dropping out. There's been another accident.
Simone Prater, I think, involved in that one.
Yeah, Sachsenring as well.
Rather. Well, we were expecting fireworks. Went off very, very quick. Here we are looking up. Carol Vega. Oh, contact there. That was Isaac Gillison. He's currently just trying to chop, going into turn 1, defend that position. Ponto trying to go around the outside of that. Very, very tight. Zbigniew Ciara just ahead of this. Jens Fiedler as well. Doing a good job. Jens Fiedler.
And doing a good job. And Ogorodnikov also trying to get back here into these points paying positions. Already in 9th, of course. That will bring him, I think, 7 points.
Yeah,
it's good.
I know.
On top of his 10 points that he already has. But that still would mean that he's behind Cihan, for example.
Yeah, of course. Needs to get by. The only thing is, the person that needs to get by to gain some more points. Oh, side by side at the top of the hill. That was a good move from Isaac Gillison. Moving his way up the order. That was brave stuff. I think Carol Vega might be able to come back down the inside into the penultimate corner here. But yeah, Ogorodnikov, if he wants to make any more progress, he's got to pass last race winner, Gergo Baldi, currently on board with Kirill Antonov on the back of DeMarco, who, DeMarco, like I said, had a very good start to the race and did some good things at the moment. I wonder what Julian Kunze as well can do from 3rd. Your keyboard's going to be doing overtime when you get to doing the maths after this, because it's going to be a bit mad the next 37 minutes of this race. 2 laps complete, plenty more to go. Of course, once we hit 30 minutes to go in this race, the pit window opens. Expect to see pretty much everyone come in as soon as that window opens, because the undercut is pretty crucial and you don't want to be bit by it.
Yes, indeed, and I think we will wait for the pit window until we speculate about who's qualifying right now and who's not. One thing's for sure, Tim Heinemann wouldn't be if it stays like it is right now.
I don't know how Tim Heinemann's going to qualify from this position. Of all of the drivers going, if you were to give me a list of drivers before even the first race and say pick one driver that will definitely qualify, Tim Heinemann would have been the one that I would have picked. We know his speed, we know his ability in racing. Maybe the wrong car choice has hindered him quite badly. Zbigniew Ciara now trying to pass Jens Fiedler, going into the penultimate corner, dives down the inside. Should be a nice easy move, but Jens Fiedler's going to try hang around the outside. No way of doing that, sir. No room there.
Good driving from Fiedler though. He saw that Ciara was going for it. He just left the door open.
Very nice, yeah. Smart driving, thinking about the bigger picture and what he can gain. Flashing the lights increases your slipstream. I think that's why he's doing that.
I think at the front we also have some slipstream. Högfeld just ahead of Pinczes. And we had this in the last race that Christopher Högfeld was chased by Adam Pinczes, and just before the end of the race, Pinczes actually passed him for 3rd place. So maybe the tire wear is in favor of Adam Pinczes.
Yeah, well, we shall see one of the many Williams Esports drivers. There's Dennis DeMarco heading up the hill. That's a big old Kirill Antonov, and another Williams Esports driver, the Williams Gym Esports driver of Mark Gassner, directly behind, running it a little bit wide. Is Dennis DeMarco maybe feeling a little bit of pressure from 6th place Kirill Antonov? The Russian, desperate to try and move his way up the order. Oh, no, nearly a dive down the inside.
More meanwhile has retired. Same as Richard Schäfer, down to 25 cars now. Antonov, he's pushing.
Snakes its way over to the left-hand side, trying to elongate that braking zone into the first corner. Kirill Antonov's going to look to the inside, maybe try and commit to something, but he's just not close enough. Does close up quite nicely on the brakes, but a nice long drive through the corner. Who's this? Johannes Weiss. Oh,
big damage.
I think that's another one to add to the retirement list as a potential. Isaac Gillison, maybe trying to put another brave move. This one, Jens Fiedler, a little bit of contact there at the bottom of the hill. Trying to run it up and over. I don't think he's going to be able to get by there. I think maybe drops in behind as a Dutchman. Oh, bit of a slide as well. We saw him make a move up this end of the circuit on Karel Vega. Whether he's going to try and do a second one on Jens Fiedler, I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't want to try it. But he made it stick earlier in the race. I think he's dropped back quite a bit there. Pulling that slipstream all the way through these left-handers. It's so quick, it's so very, very fast. Runs a little bit too far wide, now heads back down the hill, a little bit wide again. That might be pushing it for a slowdown. It's getting quite close. Just a gaggle of cars. Trying to find the limit, trying to find the way through, and here at the Sachsenring, for that last time, those moves could be so very crucial, but they're so very difficult to come across. That's why it was so important for the likes of Gergo Baldi and Ogrognikov and DeMarco and all that lot to make a lot of... Oh, down the hill, DeMarco, speaking of. Antonov trying to get by, now trying to hook it around the outside, a little bit of contact between the two. Now he's going to try and make it stick all the way around the outside. Kirill Antonov's going to have the inside back up the hill, getting muscled out there from DeMarco.
Drivers with the same approach. Aggression in their driving style. Pretty clear that was a hard move by Antonov, and it was a hard response by DeMarco, and it puts Gassner now. And also Gergo Baldi, and I think Baldi will just be patient here. Baldi knows this position will easily be enough to qualify.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've seen a lot of smart drivers. We've seen a lot of aggressive drivers. There's a nice mix currently in that qualifier. Already qualified, rather. You know, we saw Hanuyovsky doing a nice smart drive. Here we go with Kirill Antonov. Oh, he's trying to get through. He's looking down the inside. There might be a little bit more contact between himself and Dennis DeMarco, but Dennis DeMarco runs out a little bit wide. I think he's got down the inside, heading up towards the final corner. He's going to push him back over, trying to get himself a good run as Dennis DeMarco around the outside. Kirill Antonov, further contact between the two, heading back up the hill towards the start-finish line. Further contact between the two. Mark Gassner looking down the inside. I think he might get all of them, though. Kirill Antonov. Oh, Gergo Baldi's also trying to sneak it down the inside before heading towards the first corner. There's going to be further contact. Mark Gassner's moved up into 5th position. Fantastic work from him. Just wait for them to make contact. Oh, there's going to be further stuff from Kirill Antonov as well. Trying to stick it around the outside. Dennis DeMarco as well. Coming back down the hill. Further contact between the two. These two are taking plates off of each other. It's absolute madness back in the pack. Great drive from Mark Gassner. Such a well thought out move. Kirill Antonov moves up a position and then back down one. And Dennis DeMarco in 7th position now has Gergo Baldi to defend off. Wow, that was madness, Rob.
Yeah, Ogorodnikov and Barnett just joined in at the end. Also trading places there. How did they all stay on the track?
I don't know. When Gassner was sneaking up the inside, I was like, who's that? Oh, it is Gassner. Oh, right. God, absolute madness. Very nice, though. So that was very well timed for Mark Gassner to get himself up in the top 5. And, of course, that could be kind of position that he needs to. Maybe I'd probably want a couple more, but a nice position for him to potentially qualify. Isaac Julison's been off. Ooh. Wonder if he was pushed into it. Maybe another aggressive move over the top that's just not worked out. He's now got Pinczes.
I think we will see, especially at this part of the race, a lot of drivers just trying aggressive moves because, well, if they don't get a good position here in the race, the shootouts are over, so they're just not going to qualify. Of course, we've got a penalty system that goes over the competition as well, so if you just ram someone here on purpose and get a penalty, that might also have a negative effect on other leagues. But I think the mindset of a lot of drivers will be, let's just try to qualify, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Pinczes also dropped down a lot of places compared to qualifying.
Yeah, one driver that could have done something quite interesting, coming down in 19th position, Marco Pinczes. But yeah, you say that about the it's almost like a license. You know, you can have that revoked anytime. You can't just be like removed from the competition. So you don't want to do anything too major. Currently, the pit window is open, by the way.
And Vincent Yarschel, I thought he might have been gone into the pit lane, but he's retired from the race as well. Let's see with the leaders who's going to the pits. McGlade the first one, and I would be surprised if they don't come into the pits.
There we go, late entry. I think Julian Kunze didn't. No, he didn't. Julian Kunze is going to stay out. Of course, for those of you watching again, the red box by the name means that the obviously the pit strategy is open. The red means that they haven't fulfilled their mandatory pit stop. When it goes green, it means they have completed their pit stop and are leaving pit lane. Julian Kunze, though, assumes the lead of the race. Maybe going to try and put in a good lap now and bang it straight in the pit lane. Hopefully, he doesn't go to the halfway point. So don't think that that's going to be an ideal strategy that will work out for him. We saw it backfire massively against some people. Note Gergo Baldi is staying out for another lap. Race winner last time.
Basically, everyone who's ahead of Högfeldt right now is staying out. Gillison, meanwhile, also out of the race. And Högfeldt gained a bit of time there on Pinczes.
Certainly did. They probably close up, I'd assume. But yeah, there's your race leaders. So the ones that have stayed out, you've got Julian Kunze, you've got Gergo Baldi, Zbigniew Cihan, Jens Fiedler, Karel Vega, Pointeau, Kasperink, Barriere, and Simone Prater. The 9 drivers yet to stop. Of course, those ones. Isaac Gillison, is he out of the race as well, I think?
Yeah, I think he is. Kunze comes in.
Yeah. Is everyone else going to follow? This could work out for him. I mean, I don't think so, because the undercut is so crucial around here. But maybe they're just trying to get out of traffic a little bit and not pit and just come out in exactly the same way, try and use this pit stop in their favour. Here is your... All gone?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't think we had a speeding notification either.
No, we didn't. That comes up on the right-hand side of your screen, for those of you that are unaware. I think he's going to retake the lead here. Is Christopher Högfeldt?
Oh, wow. Nice Kunze. Ah, that was strong. I think he's going to go... Oh, is Pinczes going to go past him?
Yeah, just. Oh, it's going to be tight between the two heading down the hill, but I think Adam Pinczes just has the track position, but not by much. That nearly worked for Julian Kunze. Good attempt, though. And should help him stick a few points on the board. Of course, when he assumes the race lead, Christopher Högfeldt, the race leader, Adam Pinczes is going to be in second position, and Julian Kunze going to be in third. Just waiting for the other ones to come into the pit lane. And how that will affect the points, we'll get to you later, don't worry. But currently, Pinczes, I think he'll be more focused on the car ahead of Christopher Högfeldt than the car behind. But regardless to that, with a third place finish and a potential second on the cards, surely good enough to qualify. Zbigniew Cihan heading up the hill, going to continue around, going to rotate another lap in the lead. Jens Fiedler behind, staying out as well. So none of these lot coming in the pit lane thus far, with 25 minutes left on the clock. Plenty more time to cycle out. I think in all of this pit stop sequence, everyone's sort of taken a bit of a breather from each other instead of taking various port panels off of each other and the like. Just.
I think Baldi has lost a position in the pit stops as well to Oborodnikov.
He certainly has. I don't think it will matter too much, because I think even still a 9th place is more than enough. Of course, 25 points for a race victory. Obviously, he pitted a lap after everyone else. Now stowing at the back of Ogorodnikov, who's on the back of Dennis DeMarco as well, so it's pretty tight there. Looking at the eventual race leader, Christopher Hogfeld. Swinging it around the circuit. He has got a decent gap to Pinczes, but know how Pinczes has pulled away from Julian Kunze. Maybe reasserting himself on the back of the race lead, if he potentially can.
So Pinczes is doing a very good job.
Yeah, Williams Jimmy Esports driver. I wonder if, like you said before, if Adam Pinczes can qualify, if Mark Gassner can qualify, that is 6 Williams Esports drivers. A team that has really come into great form. They were pretty strong through 2019, but in 2020, across sim racing in general, not just in racing, just all over the place, such a strong team. Of course, Williams as a name is one that everyone recognised. I think Carol Vega's coming to the pit lane, as has Kasparink. So 2 further drivers in the pit lane. We're currently looking at Emre Cihan down in 19th position. I think he has got a hard day ahead of him to score any points, and he's just going to have to hope that the 20 that he's already got are going to be enough. Second place last time. Today, a point is going to be a tall order. See what he can do though. A very talented driver is Emre Cihan. Hasn't been on the racing scene for too long, but has done some good things in the short time that we've had him.
He needs to hope for some more chaos. Certainly now, Vega came out ahead of him, out of the pit lane Punto as well. So that hasn't really worked out for him. And it could be, that he's once again on 20 points, and it could be the tiebreaker once again that prevents him from qualifying here. Not sure what happened to him at the start of the race.
No, just a reminder to those about the tie-break. The tie-break is the finishing position in this race. So it's the second race, it's the same as it was in that qualifier where Isaac Gillison and Moritz Lerner and that lot were all very, very close on points, and Moritz Lerner was the one that qualified because it was all about that finishing position in that second race. Christopher Hogfeld. There we go. He is coming under pressure from Adam Pinczes, and you spoke about that late move from Pinczes to work his way up onto the podium last time. I wouldn't rule it out for a move to get up to the lead. Pinczes is a driver that's well experienced, has taken part in touring cars, in GTs and open wheelers, whatever it is. He'll drive it, and he'll drive it pretty well as well. But with that touring car, he knows how to sort of race maybe a bit hard. Tim Heinemann, the back of him, Zbigniew Sciarra, trying to find a way through on the Mercedes. Of course, that one Mercedes on the grid, you can see all the brands, all the marks on the timing tower there, and you can see that Tim Heinemann's a bit lonely in 12th position with the with the 3-pointed start. Zbigniew Sciarra, I thought he was getting a bit closer, but Jens Fiedler's still staying out. The only driver not stopped yet. Still staying out. 22 minutes on the clock to go. I think he's going to go to the halfway point, same as Tim Heinemann did last time. But we saw how big that backfired last time.
And we have got the Cihan Gassner situation. Both on 20 points if it stays as it is. And in this situation, Cihan once again would not qualify.
That'd be pretty brutal. Of course, Mark Gassner currently running in 6th position. It'll move up into 5th, which we've accounted for. Don't panic. That has already been accounted for. So it would be 20 points for the pair of them, and the tie-break would go the way of down the inside. Oh, it's going to be a bit tight there. 15th place, Pajic on the back of Mironovic, Carol Vega, then Kasparink, and then Cihan. So Cihan's got a fair amount of work to get up to that 1 point, but from that point, if everything stayed the same, it is only 1 point that he would need.
Yeah, so maybe a short overview. Who would qualify if it stays as it is? Högfeld would be first overall, followed by Pinczes, by Baldi, then Kunze would qualify, and then Gassner and Cihan tied on points, but the tiebreaker would actually go to Mark Gassner in this situation.
Yeah, Ogorodnikov is a 2 points out of qualifying, so he's not one that I would particularly rule out, sitting on the back of DeMarco or on the back of Kirill Antonov, so he's one that could move his way up So there is still potential for a third driver to enter that mix. The likes of Leon Rudinger, who's currently running in 5th position, which will become 4th. A little bit too far out of the mix. No points in the first race. It'll be an impressive second race, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless he sneaks up to this top 3 and maybe potentially nets himself a victory. Of course, with half the race to go, you never really know what's going to happen. Speaking of Ogoroknikov, he's now on the back of DeMarco, going to try and sneak his way around the outside. These two being fairly aggressive with each other. Gergo Baldi sat on the back of that, I think just being very, very patient, thinking I don't really need to do very much from this position. 9th is good enough, especially from 19th on the grid.
Yeah, Baldi would qualify easily here, and it looks like it doesn't matter what he does, because Cihan, because Gassner are not having the greatest of races. His 25 points from the first race are probably going to be enough. Cihan could make it, of course, if he just gets into the points himself. So I think that's the most likely scenario for him at the moment. Oh, Baldi getting very close there to the back of Ogoroknikov. Just needs a couple of accidents ahead of him. Just needs to stay focused. He's probably faster than most of the other drivers around him.
Maybe sneaking to the outside of Ogoroknikov there. Going to go for a bit of a dive back down the inside at the final corner. Hooks it up very, very nicely. Is he going to look? He's going to get defended as Ogoroknikov moves over to the inside, tries to defend that inside. And now getting that great drive off the final corner. It has been a brilliant drive from Gergo Baldi. Ogoroknikov's going to hold to the right-hand side to hold the inside for turn 1. Gergo Baldi's going to head to the outside, maybe try and pinch him to the inside. Going to go late on the brakes at the first corner, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Going to go for a cut back. Oh, is there enough room? There is, but not really the commitment from Gergo Baldi. Tim Heinemann, Zbigniew Ciara, Martin Barner as well, battling for 11th position. Head of that goes the way of Tim Heinemann. It's been a decent recovery drive from Tim Heinemann after being spun out effectively twice on the first lap.
Yeah, it certainly has been.
The 6 points he'd be netting for a top 10 finish, though, if he finishes like this, definitely not going to be enough. A total of 12 points. Needs in the tune of about 8 more. Probably more than that even, 8 or 9 more, which is going to be a good few positions which have already run away, unfortunately for the German driver. Tough day at the office for Tim Heinemann. Emre Cihan, 18th position. I think it will become 17th.
Oh, what a moment there from Michael Kaspering. That was a crazy moment. Quite a miracle that he caught it, and now Cihan is on the hunt. And if it stays like it is, if we discount Fiedler, of course, and I don't know if Fiedler will come out ahead of Cihan, I think he probably will. But if we discount Fiedler, then he just needs to get P15. He just needs to get into the points. Then he's got more points than Gassner has, and he would qualify.
Yeah, the only other driver that, like I said, has that potential to qualify is Ogoroknikov, this guy directly ahead of Gergo Baldi. He's currently 2 points away, so he'd need to get a couple of positions to get involved with that. Maybe looking a bit too much.
If the leaders get into each other, maybe Rüdinger as well, I think everyone else is out of contention.
Not long to go, Rob. 17 minutes left on the clock as everything's going to really open its way up. Gergo Baldi, like you said, he's just here for a bit of fun at the moment. He doesn't need to make a move, but he will definitely try. Eventual race leader Christopher Hogfeld, Adam Pinczes still in the back of him. These two, again, in their current positions, are more than comfortable with a qualification into the main grid. Directly behind Julian Kunze, I don't think he'll throw any risk into this as well. The podium that he's got will be enough, which I would not have called if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago. So a good work. A nice start to the race for him, gained a few positions on that, got to 3rd position, has held that ever since. Doesn't need to win. I don't think he's quite a well-calculated driver. I don't think he'll push anything too far. He's just really not comfortable in these cars at the moment.
Yeah, and I think he would probably have...
Ooh, that was close. Nearly knocked the camera off. Just as a reference to this, by the way, Jens Fiedler is 11 seconds up the road from this. Obviously, once he comes in, once he takes those tyres and then drops back down the pack, he'll drop way behind. Kirill Vega on the back of Pajic, on the back of Mironovic, and that one car that sneaks in, is Emre Cihan. And that shows this is the battle that he really needs to sneak up to and get involved in. curious to where Jens Fiedler's going to come out in relation to this, because I mean, we've not got very long before that pit window closes. It closes with 10 minutes to go for those of you that are watching at home. So Jens Fiedler needs to come into the pit lane at some point within the next 5 minutes to fulfill his commitment.
Sorry to interrupt you, because Pinczes has been going there for a move on Christopher Högfeldt. This is for the race win.
He's going to pick the outside for the first corner, going to try and commit on the brakes around the outside, maybe go for a cutback. He is very, very late on the brakes, trying to stick it all the way around the outside turn 1. Oh, I think he might do it. Oh, there's going to be a little bit of contact between the two as Christopher Högfeldt just gives enough room, but not by much. And down the hill they go. Christopher Högfeldt holds the second.
Oh, he's been spun!
And he spun him. Oh no, Julian Kunz is going to sneak down the inside. I think he might get... That's Högfeldt into the barrier. This has thrown everything up in the air. Wow.
Wow.
That was mad. Just a little bit of contact between himself and Adam Pinczes, and now half the field's going to try and sneak through here. DeMarco did get through. Ogoroknikov not quite yet. Gergo Baldi is going to sit behind that. I wonder if there's too much damage on the car of Högfeldt. Of course, these races, Julian Kunz has taken second position, so he's really taken advantage of that. It will become the race lead once Jens Fiedler comes into the pit lane.
Oh,
absolute madness.
This puts Ogoroknikov back into the mix. That certainly puts Gassner a little bit further behind now. Well, actually, Gassner gained a place.
He gained a place, yeah.
Oh man, this will be crazy. Of course, we have to restart all of the calculations.
Madness. Absolute madness. 40 minutes to go. These races do get absolutely bonkers. We've seen that so many times over the previous 7 races. There's been a fantastic effort from the entire grid here for the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship qualifiers. Been a great experience to be a part of, and here Igor Ogoroknikov maybe smelling a bit of an opportunity to get himself onto the main grid. Högfeldt just spun out. Of course, a reminder that all the results after this are going to be provisional, and
yeah,
I'm sure
of course,
that
there could be a penalty.
Yeah,
could be a penalty, because I think it was Pinczes who got into the back of Högfeldt there.
Yeah, it's definitely one that needs to be looked at. There's Julian Kunz, then your second place, the eventual race lead. I mean, it's getting better for him though, isn't it? Just not a part of any of this. Just thinking, oh, okay, yeah, fine, I'll hang on, and sneaks his way up into a potential race-winning position. At the moment, the German driver has not looked particularly strong at any point throughout these qualifiers, but now, it could be what a story it would be. Leon Rudinger as well is close up to this. Of course, he's gained the position, and if there's any damage to Adam Pinczes, he's closing in. Mark Gassner as well, Kirill Antonov on the back of that. So your top 5 are indeed closing up. 12 minutes to go in this race. Jens Fiedler needs to come down the pit lane pretty sharpish. He's leaving it to the very last minute of this pit lane window. And the final 10 minutes of this are going to be absolutely crazy. Gergo Baldi trying to go around the outside of Ogoroknikov. Not really making that one stick, but now goes for the cutback. And once again, I think he's just sitting there. Tim Heinemann is closing though with Zbigniew FCR. You can just see them scooping around the background there through the second corner and then down the hill.
The moment Högfeldt would still qualify, same as Gassner, both on 22 points. So that means Cihan now actually needs to get 3 points. So it was really bad news for Cihan after all. Because it did promote Gassner in one place.
Yes, somehow, not even getting involved, it goes downhill for Emre Cihan, which is just pretty rough. But, you know, he's still got a few positions directly ahead of him. He might still gain something. You never know. Anything to potentially throw this one up in the air. Mark Gassner then would be a confirmed qualifier. Wouldn't need to go back to a count back. Has 22 points should he finish in the 4th position. They'll eventually move up to. So that would be a very solid event for him. And there we are. Jens Fiedler left it to the very last minute. Comes into the pit lane and fulfills his requirement. Pajic down the inside for this will be for 14th position. Moronovic, Kirill Vega directly behind, and then Emre Cihan, that last car in shot. Now these ones will all be for positions. I think they're gonna. Are they gonna? Oh no! Jens Fiedler might come out ahead of this. He is gonna come out ahead of this. Not by much though. But now he's gonna have fresh tyres on.
A clear advantage there for Fiedler towards the end of the race.
So at the moment,
Someone's-
off in the background, that was Vega. Emre Cihan, free position, tick. There's one, so he's into 16th position. If he gains the 2 positions directly ahead of him that he could gain would give him 2 points, which isn't enough. He needs another one.
He needs another one, but so much can happen in the last 3 minutes.
This top 5 are very much closing up in the final quarter of this race. That top 5 being Julian Kunze, Adam Pinczes, Leon Rudinger, Mark Gassner and Kirill Antonov. Those 5 on screen at the moment. Of course, the top 2 there being Pinczes and Kunze being very, very close. Euronics Gaming versus Williams. That's what we want to see. Two of the biggest teams on Race Room going toe-to-toe. Adam Pinczes wants to show that he's a viable member to the main Williams Esports category, not just the Williams Gym Esports. He doesn't want to just be a part of that, wants to be a part of the main outfit. Of course, they all work very closely anyway. Flings left and then back down the hill. That low sun as well. It causes you to be a bit blind going up the hill.
Yes, it's a track with a lot of blind corners anyway, but I'm sure these drivers will have practiced a lot. I'm not sure if Pinczes is really aware of his championship position, because he is leading this mini championship, this shootout championship at the moment, and he also didn't have to try anything against Christopher Högfeldt earlier on.
No, it was a... I think it was more like just a... Obviously going down the hill, it wasn't him trying to push Högfeldt out of the way. I think it was just a complete misjudgment. Of course, we only saw that one angle from the back end of Högfeldt's car, so we didn't really have the best angle to judge any sort of incident from that one. But I'm sure it'll be looked at. I'm sure there'll be an apology thrown Christopher Högfeldt's way anyway, if they all get through. So it should be all good. Emre Cihan sees a couple of positions, sees another one, and if he does that, then he will qualify. And then Christopher Högfeldt would, as far as I can see, no, he wouldn't. Christopher, if that happens, if Emre Cihan does get a few positions and qualifies, then Högfeldt would not, because it would go to countback, and between Högfeldt and Gassner is higher in this race. Of course, that's something to figure out in 9 minutes' time. So we're 8 minutes rather time. We're fine. We've got time. Back up the hill once again. How, around such a tricky circuit, with not very long to go in this race, how do you get a position, get 3 positions for Emre Cihan? He's already thinking about the moves he needs to make, already thinking about what he needs to do as the top 5 continue to close up. Or this could be a very, very fireworks-filled end to the race. And realistically, it probably doesn't need to be, but I'm sure it will be anyway.
Yeah, Antonov is pretty close to Gassner, and of course Antonov is the teammate of Ogorodnikov, who also would not qualify at this moment. Meanwhile, Yannick Pasali also out of the race. It's a shame on his server 1 debut on Race Room. Yeah,
it's a shame because we've got 6 retirements in this race now. Yannick Pasali, Gillison, Vincent Yarshall, Johannes Weiss, Alexander Vermont and Richard Schaefer all out of this race, unfortunately. But nevertheless, we still have a great race to bring you. Marko Pejic staring at the back of 14th place Mironovic, as he has done for pretty much the entirety of this race. But Emre Cihan is there now. I'm sure we'll be pushing it to the very limit, but I wonder if his tyres might be going off a bit. Of course, the one ahead of this, that main position that he needs to get, 13th place Jens Fiedler, is on newer tyres, and I think we'll just continue to run away from this. I don't think he's much of a threat, and so I think for Emre Cihan, it's, unless there's something that happens ahead that he gains from, I don't think he's going to be in a position to qualify, but you never know. 2008 Formula 1 is that Glock, for example. You never know.
I'm very curious how he will approach the scene here. Pejic looks to be pretty fast as well, putting all sorts of pressure on Mironovic. Pejic goes for the move, and now Cihan has to follow through.
That was nice. There's a bit of contact between the two. It was a nice move, but it just was done with the cutback. Now Pajic is going to run wide. Mironovic is going to retake that position. Emre Cihan's going to be side by side up the hill. He's going to have to commit around the outside of the first corner. You see Mironovic was giving the slipstream to Pajic there, and now gives it to Emre Cihan. He's going to go late on the brakes at the first corner to try and stick it around the outside, but it's so not ideal. We've not really seen it work. Now he's going to go for the cutback, and there is no room for him, and Emre Cihan still has to settle for 16th position. It's close. It was very, very close. But with 5 minutes to go, you need to take advantage of any opportunity that goes your way. And unfortunately, I don't think Emre Cihan was in the position to really take advantage of any of that.
Yeah, I think in the situation, you just have to go for the move no matter, you know, even if it's dirty, it doesn't matter. I think you just have to try it, get into the 14th position, which is the best he can hope for, and then just hope that someone ahead of him spins or runs out of fuel.
Yeah, you've got to do all of the work that you can, then leave it in the hands of someone else at that point. Like, you know, you just, as long as you can leave the event thinking, look, I did everything that I could, then sometimes that's enough for you to be like, okay, do you know what, it just wasn't meant to be. At this point, though, I think there is a bit more that Emre Cihan can do with those 2 positions that he can gain, and then, yeah, hope someone else falls off.
It's running out of time.
Yeah, exactly. Only 4 minutes 30 to go. Of this top 5, though, Julian Kunze is in the best spot to take the victory, but we know how aggressive Adam Pinczes can be. Here he is, going to get close, going to dive down the inside, going to take a look. He is, but no, doesn't commit. Oh, Pajic's going to try and commit down the inside of Mironovic. That was going to be late. Nothing happened there, though, so we're all right. All right, we can take a deep breath.
Let's focus back on the leaders, because Julian Kunze could take his first victory of 2020 here. Same, of course, for Pinczes or Rüdiger. Pinczes only has a single race from victory. That was at the Tuning World Bodensee. And I don't think Rüdiger has any victories on race from yet.
No, I don't think so either. Obviously, Julian Kunze's won. He's knocked up a few in his time, as well as pole positions. I remember him taking a few pole positions in the earlier, when it was WTCC Esports Championship years ago.
Yeah.
Was very, very quick in that. Didn't really put together the main championship campaign that he wanted. And I think it was Alex Dornadon who came out on top of that one, who's already qualified.
Yeah, not a lot of people expected that Kunze would be one of the drivers who was in the last shootout, and he wasn't even in the top 5 going into it. So, worked out perfectly for him here. He's still gonna make it into the season, no disadvantage at all if he gets into the grid now. But it's still it's been a rough season for Julian. And it's good to see that he's slowly but surely finding back to his old form.
Yeah, of course, one driver who's been to a few, obviously we don't really know everything of what's going to happen, obviously with the way of the world at the moment. Tim Heinemann now staring at the back of a good few positions that he could gain here. But Kunze's one who genuinely picks up an awful lot of time when it comes to a LAN event. He's very, very good at them. He's got a bit of experience with them. And so one driver who, as long as it qualifies into the main season, depending on what happens, could actually do quite well in the main season.
Same thing that I thought about Heinemann as well, because he's got a lot of natural pace. But it's a shame that we won't see Heinemann, at least as a full season starter. There should be guest drivers as well, so for certain rounds he could get still in, but he's not gonna play a role in the championship, unfortunately. It stays like this, and I think something happened to Vega. Just popped up a little bit higher on the standings.
I saw him move up and then back down again. I think he's all right. I think it might have been a timing bug. Oh, Barobnikov! Oh,
I think that's further behind. That's the Cihan battle. Oh, and Cihan has to get Pajic now.
And he does. He does. There we go. Into the points for Emre Cihan Mironovic. It was a late dive from Pajic that's not paid off. Mironovic hangs on to 14th position. And now Emre Cihan moves up into the point, so he has a single point, puts it to 21 to his name. 20. Yeah, it's 21. 21 to his name for Emre Cihan, but needs a good few more than that, I'm afraid. You Emre Cihan fans. There'll be two more laps.
2 more points.
So, yeah, the thing is, he can gain 1 by getting by Mironovic and get himself 2 points on the board, but that 3rd point. it needs to be luck. I'm afraid it needs to be luck that goes his way to gain that 3rd point. But the most thing that he can do, he needs to gain that 2nd point anyway. One more lap to go then for Julian Kunze, who's currently leading the way. Adam Pinczes directly behind. Here's Tim Heinemann trying to sneak it down the inside, gain himself another position. That one's Gergo Baldi. Gergo Baldi not really risking it too much. He'll settle for the 6 points that he'll get in 10th position. And Tim Heinemann now moves up into 9th place, which won't be enough for him. Mark Gassner staring at the back of his car rather than Kirill Antonov directly behind.
Phantom of Passerson, that's also good enough for Cihan.
No pressure for Mark Gassner. It is so tight. Trying to back off, trying to give himself a good run. Maybe coming down the hill into the penultimate corner is going to be his last chance. And if you were Kirill Antonov, wouldn't you try and take it? You never know. And you see Mark Gassner's dropped off the back of the top trio as well. So this is very, very important for Mark Gassner heading down the hill. Can he hang on to 4th position? Can he hang on to a qualification spot into the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship qualifiers? Oh, it's going to be tight. I think he may have just done enough. At the top end of the field, though, he is going to do enough. Oh, but down the inside, oh, there's a little bit, nearly contact between the two. At the front, though, Julian Kunze is going to come out the final corner and out of absolutely nowhere, takes victory and books himself a place into the main grid. Adam Pinczes as well. Fantastic drive for him. A 2nd place. We'll obviously see about that instant. Leon Rudiger, Mark Gassner onto the grid. Kirill Antonov is not, he's in 5th position. DeMarco 6th. Hogfeld grabs 7th, and that will be enough. Ogoroknikov in 8th position. Tim Heinemann not enough. Gergo Baldi in P10. Race winner last time. Should be enough. And this man, Emre Cihan. Oh, it's because people have left. That's fine. Don't panic. Won't be enough, I don't think.
A couple of drivers left the server already. Of course, we will take our time to calculate it properly after this race. But what a showdown it was here in the final ADAC GT Masters Shootout. One man came out on top, and that's Julian Kunze. At the very last minute, he secures the qualification for the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, there's your provisional finishers. So you can see that win from Julian Kunze, and then Adam Pinczes as well directly behind, and Leo Rudiger on the podium. A great drive from that lot. It was all about the start from Julian Kunze. It didn't really start the race qualification-wise in the best position, but then gained up into 3rd position. Then that contact between Adam Pinczes and Christopher Hogfeld is what allowed him to move up those extra positions and take a race win. Very well deserved from a very well experienced driver. Of course, so many drivers that retired the race maybe could have done something quite well here. There was a lot of contact on that first lap as we were expecting fireworks, Rob. What a mad race.
What a mad race indeed. So that's it for the shootouts, I would say, Lewis. That was the last shootout, and we'll just make sure we get the correct points out of this, and then it's been a wild ride here in the shootouts.
Yeah, well, that's it. Is if you want more experience like that, you know the qualifiers are only a step to the main grid, so we're going to see more then. And then of course all of the other racing series across all of RaceStream. You know, you go and subscribe to YouTube, go and obviously like the Facebook page and see everything that happens on there. There is so much racing stuff that happens there. Whilst we're going to take a quick little break, whilst we bring you the points, we're just going to run the highlights from the first race. So those of you that missed that first race, you can actually see what happened, what put us in this position for that race, and then we'll bring you the points and take it from there.
Die letzten Sekunden ticken runter Und gleich geht's los hier. Start Sachsenring. 3,671 Kilometer heißt es zu absolvieren für die ersten 40 Minuten. Wir blicken nach hinten über das Auto von Tim Heinemann und der kommt zwar gut weg, aber neben ihm, da Emre Cihan, der hat einen Raketenstart hingelegt. Der Türke setzt sich gleich mal da vorne an die Spitzenposition, will der Heinemann noch innen durch. Oh, der presst sich da vorbei in gewohnter Manier, drängt ihn da ein bisschen raus. Hinten zwängen sich alle durch und einer geht da durch den Dreck. Ich glaube, ist das Kunze gewesen?
Das könnte Kunze gewesen sein, der ist sehr weit zurückgereicht worden, wobei das war ein weißes Fahrzeug, das könnte Leon Rüdiger gewesen sein. Und das ist auf jeden Fall Leon Rüdiger, der ist da gerade eben gedreht wird. Mann, wie ärgerlich. Und jetzt knallt es natürlich richtig heftig. 3, 4, 5, 6 Fahrzeuge hast du da gerade eben erwischt. Karel Vega ist mit raus, Jens Fiedler ist mit raus, der Italiener Luciano Bedin ist mit raus. Und der dreht sich nochmal weg. Ganz, ganz dramatische Szenen hier. Die müssen sich ganz schnell wieder einreihen. Das Rennen ist definitiv für die Jungs vorbei, das können wir ganz klar so sagen. Und dabei sah es für Leon Rüdiger im Qualifying so stark aus.
Also ganz, ganz prickelnde Phase und ja, das ist vielleicht der Vorteil fast dieses etwas absurd wirkenden Markenpokals. Aber
Heinemann wird langsam. Warum ist denn Heinemann so langsam gewesen? Der bringt ja jetzt alles vollkommen durcheinander. Muss aufpassen, dass Pinczes jetzt nicht plötzlich hinten reinsticht. Der muss nochmal von der Linie runtergehen. Erneut Wahnsinns. Autokontrolle von Höchfeld. Und man kann nicht sehen, wer da jetzt gerade eben alles reingegangen ist. Das dürfte Höchfeld und Pinczes gewesen sein. Ja, die gehen einfach Seite an Seite in die Boxengasse. Wir sehen echt alles.
Und jetzt muss man gucken, wer kommt als erstes raus. Höchfeld bewegt sich wieder, aber das Auto hat ein bisschen weiter vorne gestanden. Kommt der an Baldi, beziehungsweise kommt der vorbei? Und was ist mit Baldi?
Baldi ist, also das ist Gassner und Baldi, die sind schon lange vorbei. Die sind lange vorbei.
Ja,
also der Undercut hat definitiv funktioniert. Oh mein Gott. Also ich sehe es schon kommen, wie Tim Heinemann jetzt gleich durchgereicht wird. Das kann nicht wahr sein.
Johannes Weiß, momentan hinter Tim Heinemann, noch einer der wenigen, die nicht drin gewesen sind. Und Heinemann ist drin.
So, wo ist Baldi? Wo ist Baldi? Ich finde den nicht mehr. Da ist Baldi und oh je. Oh je. Das ist, glaube ich, das haben wir glaube ich, schon verstanden, oder? Wenn Baldi jetzt durch die letzte Kurve durchfährt, Heinemann steht immer noch. Die einzige Frage, die wir uns jetzt noch stellen können, ist, wie weit geht's zurück? Cihan ist vorbei. Jetzt fährt Heinemann erst los. Höchfeld ist vorbei. Also Heinemann auf die 6, auf die 7. Murphy, Pinczes ist durch.
Und vorne sehe ich gerade im Zeitentableau einen Positionswechsel und dann einen Abflug. Das darf nicht wahr sein. Eben war Gassner noch mit der Nase vorbei an Gergo Baldi.
Mensch. Wieso denn Marc Gassner? Warum denn gerade Marc Gassner? Mann.
Er hält da irgendwie so ein bisschen die mittlere Linie, macht nicht komplett zu, macht aber auch gerade so nicht weit genug auf, dass dann irgendwie jemand reinziehen könnte. Hier geht er dann mit Schwung raus. Die Stelle kennen wir mit dem AMG, ist die problematisch, aber Emil Murphy.
Das machen die nicht.
Letzte Kurve und Murphy kann der mehr Schwung mitnehmen. Der ist daneben. Im Rückspiegel hat man es gesehen, dass der schneller ist. Jetzt geht's mit Körperkontakt in die erste Kurve rein und hinten klemmt sich jetzt noch Edgar Agorodnikov mit dran. Der könnte jetzt da noch mal mit durchziehen, macht er nicht, wechselt nach
Vorsicht, da kommt noch einer dazu und jetzt die nächste Berührung. Gassner wird wieder gerade gestellt, fährt einfach weiter, alles klar, komm, gib ihm. Mann, ey, haben die Bock, aber die müssen ein bisschen weniger machen.
Ja, aber ich glaube, wir sollten jetzt mal nach vorne schauen, denn die Zeit ist abgelaufen. Das Rennen nähert sich dem Ende und die Strecke ist ja nun wirklich nicht lang. Aber erstmal Gergo Baldi mit seinem ersten Sieg hier im Shootout und das könnte ja der wichtigste Sieg sein für diesen Championship aus seiner Perspektive. Vor Emre Cihan, Adam Pinczes auf der 3. Position vor Christopher Högfeld und Tim Heinemann schleppte seinen AMG, ja, dann doch zumindest mal souverän vor Igor Agorodnikov durch auf die 5. Position. Marc Gassner sichert sich P7 vor Thomas Mironovic. Dann haben wir Julian Kunze also auf 9 und im Schlepptau hat er Marco Pejic. Eine sehr interessante Top 10, muss ich sagen.
Well, that was a couple of weeks ago, when today we've had an incredible race and we have got those standings to bring to you. Of course, it was absolute madness then, and that was what gave Gergo Baldi a victory and what gave him the best opportunity to qualify today. And those there are your provisional standings for this qualifier. Adam Pinczes, Julian Kunze, Gergo Baldi, Marc Gassner and Christopher Hogfeld all going into the main grid. Emre, Cihan, so close, but unfortunately, just not enough, Rob.
Yes, of course, these standings are provisional. It's possible that someone will pick up a penalty. There's been a couple of accidents in this race, of course. But provisionally, that's how it is. So Pinczes, Kunze, Baldi, Gassner and Högfeld complete the grid of 20 drivers. And in each race, there will be 4 guest drivers. Not quite sure when the season starts because of the whole corona situation around the world. Might be forced to wait just a little bit longer, but it will happen this year. With a lot of LAN events, 5 LAN events are planned at the GT Masters races and a lot of exciting racing action to come.
Absolutely, and if you want to keep up to date with all of that, I say go and like our Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube, follow us everywhere that you possibly can because there is so much racing coming up on Racestream. Thank you very much for joining us throughout all of the qualifiers. Lewis McGlade alongside me, Rob Wiesenmüller, and until next time, well, we'll see you then.
Goodbye.